Thank you, Mr. Thomas there. And moving on next in the program, comments and reading of text coming to the stage. Please welcome Miss Rita Ann Smith, Adams family historian and granddaughter of David Adams. Miss Rita Ann Smith.
Well, hello, family and friends. I need to hear some noise out there, yup. Okay, all right. Well, this has been an inspiring week. As I stayed glued to the TV, watching the 50th anniversary of the March on Washington, as Ms. Greenwood mentioned, it was awesome to watch the replaying of the films of the events that recorded the civil rights movements. In those films, seeing young children, 8, 10, 12 years of age, standing up to the fire hoses and dogs as they march for a cause that affected all our lives and all our futures. You become very humble as to the sacrifices of so many, and that is why we are here today. My charge for today is to share how the 2002 the Ohio Historical Underground Marker in Findlay, Ohio came to be, specifically honoring David Adams, and who was also in his early 20s when he started his work on the Underground Railroad. But he was a well-respected businessman, and whose barber shop was across from the courthouse on Main Street, and it is the location of the marker. Again, it was youth that can take full responsibility for the marker that is there in Findlay. It was in 1999 and 2000 as 5th grade students of the Rich Language Arts Program began studying the Underground Railroad. They discovered citizens of Findlay, Ohio, who had played an important part in that special movement of that time. They then decided that it would be a good idea, after they completed their research, that they should apply for a marker. Their research at the Ohio Historical Society led them to the Wilbert Siebert volumes of interviews and conductors and contributors to the Underground Railroad network. Their enthusiasm and tenacity kept them going until the project was complete, with the dedication of the marker 3 years later. These young students, remember they were 6th graders when they started, continued this project after completing that grade and that school and had moved on to another school. The dedication for the marker was on a cold day in April of 2002, and the students collectively with their dedicated teacher, Beth Ann Neeson, conducted the presentation and presented the stories of those heroes. And also, after they completed that, they also produced a booklet that gave the story of the Underground Railroad there in Findlay and Hancock County. But I would just like to quote, because I think we've got a lot of young people here today, and I think we need to charge them as to some of the dedication and commitment so many young people made so early in our earlier history. But I would like to quote what these students said. Our wish was to have these freedom heroes, Findlay heroes, recognized and their stories remembered. If the interviews with Hurd, Merkel, and Adams had not been discovered at the Ohio Historical Museum, they might have been left forever unnoticed. This marker is a way for us to remember those local heroes from 150 years ago and how their stories must live on. We are blessed by our children. But we're here today about the marker that we're ready to dedicate to Lewis Adams. And so he has asked me to read what that inscription will say. The Underground Railroad in Champaign County. The inhumanity of slavery and the Fugitive Slave Acts of 1793 and 1850 motivated anti-slavery activists to operate a covert network, the Underground Railroad, which helped fugitive slaves escape captivity. From the early 1800s to the end of the Civil War, local activists assisted runaway slaves on their journey north to freedom. Guides, or conductors, used their homes, farms, and churches and stations to hide and shelter runaway slaves, which was called cargo. If captured, fugitive slaves were severely punished and re-enslaved. Conductors faced large fines and imprisonment. Free persons of color risked being sold into slavery. A route often traveled was once a path used by migrating buffalo, which became an Indian trail called the Bullskin Trace. It ran north from the Ohio River to Lake Erie and later became Route 68. The other side of the marker will say Lewis Adams. Lewis Adams from 1785 to 1864, a free black man and a founding member of St. Paul AME Methodist Episcopal AME Church, was an Underground Railroad conductor in Champaign County from approximately 1825 to 1861. Adams, his sons, and his father-in-law, Francis Reno, guided many runaways through the county. Adams sheltered fugitives at his home in Urbana and later his farm in Concord Township, which was called Muddy Creek. In 1848, Adams' son, David, moved north to Findlay, Ohio, Hancock County, and also operated as a conductor who guided runaway slaves north along the Bullskin Terrace through Ohio to Canada. Listed among other Champaign County operators are William Adams, Cypress Atkins, Joseph Bland, John Butcher, Peter Boyd, Moses Corwin, Thomas Colgill, William Jameson, Joseph Reno, David Rutten, Levi Stanhope, Joseph Stilgas, and Abner Winder. That is what is on the marker that you and I are about to dedicate to all of history. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, Miss Rita Ann Smith, and at this time, you can feel free to get your cameras out. A very special moment here, the culmination of, I would say, hours, days, years even, years of working on this. Here, right over to our side here. Very nice. And again, that will be placed on the south side of Urbana at, I believe it's called Freedom Grove Park. All right, as we said, the marker will be placed here soon in Freedom Grove Park. Coming to the stage next with comments on Freedom Grove Park, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the president of the Urbana Rotary Club, Miss Terry Pope.
Thank you very much. Wow, isn't that marker gorgeous? It is beautiful. I had a chance a few weeks ago to see it up front and personally unpacked it. I've seen it from the road. To see it up front like that, oh my gosh, it was breathtaking. I'm honored as a part of the Rotary Club of Urbana to be here today to help welcome this marker to our community. I've been involved in this project for just a short time, only about 4 weeks, but I will tell you, I have learned so much about this great community and Urbana in these 4 weeks. It makes me so proud to live here and to be a part of this. Freedom Grove. If you've not been there yet, please make it a point to see Freedom Grove Park. This monument, this marker, will be a perfect addition to what that message and that park represents to our community and the story we tell with that park. Freedom Grove is located just south of Urbana, Route 68 and 55. Fabulous place to visit, to memorialize, to commemorate all of those who have fought for our freedoms that we enjoy today. If you have the opportunity, you might make a nighttime visit. We were blessed a number of years ago to be able to welcome and to memorialize a resident of Champaign County, Alicia Titus, who lost her life on 9/11. She was a stewardess in that plane. She's a resident of this county. On behalf of her and all the things that happened as a result of that, we have a piece of the World Trade Center Tower in the middle of that park. As cool as that is, you've got to see it at night. It has a light display of millions of lights that over about 20 minutes light up and visually tell that story of what happened that sunny day, to the blast of red, to the white, to the black, to the building falling before your eyes with lights. It is memorable. It is awe-inspiring. We are very pleased and proud to welcome this latest addition to our park, Freedom Grove, as a testimony to the freedoms and the rights that all of us have done and worked towards in our own ways. Lastly, as a part of that Freedom Grove project, you too can have your name, your place, your space there. We have shared with the Boy Scouts a way of which you can buy pavers, blocks, bricks, to memorialize your family, your fight, your beliefs towards freedom. You can do that and be a part of that forever and ever. You can go to our website, RotaryClubOfUrbana.com, FreedomGrove.com. We have flyers at the Boy Scout table as well. And I thank you. It's very hot out here today, but nothing like others have pursued in the heat that they went through many years ago. On behalf of the Urbana Rotary Club, we thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, Ms. Terry Pope, President of the Urbana Rotary Club. And in our closing remarks, right off the bat, we want to let you know there is a family picture displays, I believe, right behind the marker there on tables in this area. So if you want to stop by and take a look at that, you can do that as well. Before we close it out, we definitely want to say, give a great big hand to Mark Evans and Art Thomas, Mark and his family as well, Shauna and their sons. A lot of work put in here. And again, two big words heard today, family and awareness. We appreciate family. My family, my mom and dad, Warren and Audrey Stevens over there, love you very much. And it's just good to see the community come together, and as a young man, being aware, now a little mature man, being aware of our community. And as a young man growing up, you see other men. My mom and dad gave me the foundation for who I am today, but there's other men in the community that as a young man, you don't realize you saw them, but you weren't watching close. And as a more mature man, I came to appreciate those men in the community who made a difference. At that time, I didn't know they were making a difference, but their positivity and what they did, like the late Mr. Dave Nash, his positive spirit. I played in many games when he refereed. The late Mr. Kenny Lucas, I will never forget him behind the plate when I was in Pony League. Also, Mr. Van Evans, a positive spirit as well. And all those guys that made such a huge difference. Mr. Brownie Bean, I'm not sure if he's here. He was my first baseball coach. So, again, as a young man, you see these guys. And don't forget Mr. Johnny Evans. I won't forget him as far as his professionalism as a police officer when I was a young man. But you see these guys, but as a adult, you can appreciate more. Mr. Keith Barrett, he was my martial arts teacher as a business owner when I was in the 6th grade. And also, last but not least, I want to say special thanks to friends that are out there. I saw Mr. Duvall Dunn and Mr. Freddie and Josie Dunn. Their late son, Pete Dunn, he's a big reason what I do today. When I was a freshman in high school in radio, Pete Dunn allowed me to sit in the studio with him when I was a freshman. He was a senior, and thanks to you, I never got a chance to tell him thanks, but I'd like to tell you guys thanks. But it's about appreciation and awareness, and I hope we make this a yearly tradition here in Urbana. And I believe we got cake. We have a reception over here with the pictures, and ladies and gentlemen, get ready for music too with one of the top bands in Central Ohio, Luxury Brown, featuring Meredith Evans. Also, C4I, they'll be performing as well. Just thank you so much for coming out. At this time, we'll continue on with our program with Richard Haythcock. Come on up here, and then again, we got music, as I said, coming to the stage here in just a few. But thank you all for coming out, friends and family, and all those influences. A long list, and I know I missed quite a few people as far as those influences. As a young man, I saw from day to day and week to week. But we thank you all.
My name is Rick Haythcock, and I want to share some things with you. Some of you might not know that a number of the folks here have Native American ancestry. And first of all, I want to introduce some people. I want to introduce Eagle Boy, Brian Adams, a descendant of Clifford Adams, part of your family. I want to introduce Joe, also a member of Eagle Boy. I want to introduce Joe Adams, member of the Adams family. He lives in Loveland, Ohio. Okay? I'm going to get started. If we have any dignitaries here today, please come forward and have a seat. By saying dignitary, I'm calling for chiefs, spiritual leaders, pastors, priests, rabbis, family leaders, women who serve like in the capacity as clan mothers, and so on, who have power in the family. Please stand by and remove your hats unless you have a rafter feather in it. I'm going to ask you to pray in the manner your parents and your grandparents taught you to pray. I'm going to pray in the language of my ancestors and the Sun, the Saponi people. Wet me wango abiwa. Dear God, I ask you to forgive me if I'm mispronouncing any words in my language. Here's my language and my prayer. Biwa dokaliro, neham pleki evi, wet me wango abiwa, pilahak on, my menosa, nigas, monahena, pilahak on, atima toy, monahena, hook and gita. You may be seated. I want to thank Mark Evans for the invitation to talk at the 93rd Adams Family Reunion for the installation and dedication of the Underground Railroad marquee. Before I get started, I want to mention I've had 2 heart attacks and 3 strokes, so I might mispronounce a word or lose my thoughts or so on. I'm just kidding. If I do that, I'll ask you to please forgive me. Disclaimer, I don't deny I have any African or European ancestry. One of the first things I want to point out is I won't be talking today about Simon Kenton or Daniel Boone. The first white settlers in Champaign County were French Canadians, and in 1797, Pierre Degan and his Indian wife. They left around 1797 and moved towards the wilderness. The country was already the site of several small Indian villages. As I stated, I'm a Saponi Indian. I'm an Ohio River Valley Sioux. My Indian name is Bini Hamani Wichasha. My English name is Richard Lee Haythcock. We spoke the same language as the Tulo and the Dakota Sioux. They, the Dakota, understood many of our words, and our tribes, you can't? Will that be better? Can you hear me? My tribe's primary surnames are Haythcock, Richardson, Maybra, Lucas, Hedgepath, Lynch, Silvers, Mills, Harris, and several other names. And there's approximately 3,800 tribal members down in Halifax, Warren, and Lucas, in Nash counties, North Carolina. The Saponi Indians lived on a reservation in Virginia on the Virginia-Carolina line. Some of the Saponi Indians left the reservation area for Ohio in the 1830s and 40s. My family settled in Ross and Pike County, Ohio. I claim both my Saponi and Chickamauga Cherokee lineage. My Cherokee ancestry came from Tennessee and Georgia, lying probably near Lake Chickamauga. My Chickamauga Cherokee ancestors fought with the British against the Americans during the War of 1812. After that war was over, the British fled north to Canada. The Americans punished the Chickamauga Cherokee warriors and their families for fighting on the side of the Americans, for fighting on the side of the British. The Americans captured my great ancestors and sister Dinah and moved them from Georgia, Tennessee area to Virginia, up into Botetourt County. Some of these records are found in Kentucky courthouses. As stated, I'm here to talk about the first inhabitants. I'm going to share with you some traditional teachings. Nothing so sacred that it takes you into a sweat lodge or anything like that, or into our sacred circles. This is just basic general knowledge that you go, if you go to a powwow, if you talk to, say, Indian people out here, if you have questions, they can tell you. I'm not trying to come up with anything new or anything old. Monahana, that's in our language for Mother Earth, has given us the 4 sacred herbs for prayer. We use cedar, sage, sweetgrass, and tobacco. Like the Jewish and Catholic Church use incense. The 4 directional colors for the north, red for the south, yellow for the east, and black for the west. The 3 sisters are corn, beans, squash, The corn is strong. It grows straight up. The bean wraps around the corn stalk and supports the corn. Then you have the patrilineal father, like in the Sioux. We are patrilineal people, and the Iroquois are matrilineal people. That's through our mother's side. The Saponi have 5 clans. We're the bear, the turkey, the panther, and the snipe, and the snake. The native people called America Turtle Island. We are the First Nations people of Turtle Island. The white church thought the Indians were lost pagans, but we worshiped a supreme God. We already have the Creator. God gave us this land a long time ago. He placed the whites in Europe, the blacks in Africa, the Hindus and Chinese in Asia. And we believe in a life hereafter. 300 years ago, this year, Christians introduced Christianity to the Saponi Indians in 1713 and 1714. Europeans and Americans from the early period, when they arrived here, dehumanized native people, dividing them into mound builders, savages, redskins, anything but people. The so-called mound builders are Indians, not a separate race. The so-called mound builders are relatives and are tied to the past and connects us to the present-day tribes. From the histories of Champaign County, this was Shawnee country. The Miamis, Ottawas, Mingos, Delawares, and Seneca Indians passed through this area. Historians say these Indians developed the mound builders culture. The mound people were 8 miles southeast of Urbana near Mechanicsburg. After the signing of the Greenville Treaty, the newly chosen chief, Shawnee Chief Tecumseh, established a new village on Deer Creek near Urbana. Although not currently a part of Champaign County, Catawba was once included within the borders of Champaign, which is now Clark now. It probably had a Catawba Indian presence. We know the Catawba Indians who lived on Selma Pike in Greene County. The Jeffreys, they came here from Virginia, ran into and towards Clark and Madison County. The Catawbas are from the Carolinas.
Oh, he's good.
There was also a Catawba Island at Lake Erie. Some of the, I should say Lake Erie, not Erie. Lake Erie, talking country, you know. Some of the southeastern native tribes residing in the area are Indian and Indian descendants. Some of the tribes are Saponi, Cherokee, Powhatan, Catawba, Chirra, Nottoway, and Meherrin. When you read the history of Catawba, the town of Powhatan is often mentioned. Now I want to talk about the mixed band of Shawnee and the Seneca Cayuga. Several Tugelo and Saponis occupied Indian lands in Logan County before moving to Missouri, then to Oklahoma. The Tulos and Saponis lived with the bands of the Seneca Cayuga. What happened was this occurred when we was adopted into the Iroquois Confederacy in 1753, and instead of being wiped out by the white people, some of our people moved north into Pennsylvania, then into New York, then we moved into Brantford, Ontario, on the Six Nations. One of our chiefs just passed away, one of our chiefs, Chief Frank Buck.
That's all right, I'll let you have it.
A number of ethnohistorians and ethnologists have cited a number of First Nations people, tribes, nations as being prematurely extinct. By doing this, the government extinguishes treaty obligations. So by doing this, when they say that the tribes are prematurely extinct, the government wants to extinguish treaty obligations and say you're no longer here. So we can't honor you. We can't give you a piece of the pie. We can't give you back your land because you're not here. And so, that's for sure. Quite for sure. And then another thing I want to share, next to my last thing, is I want to talk about the Nat Turner Rebellion in Southampton County, Virginia, 1831. We're talking about from who?
Okay, everybody, we had great respect for my brothers when we were up here. They need the same respect. We need to pay attention. If we were not going to pay attention to them, can we move away from the stage so the few of us that are paying attention to them can hear them? We want to thank you for your patience, but they are saying some very important things and very important information that our people need to hear. Thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate that very much.
Hey, boss man.
One of the last, or next to last, Nat Turner Rebellion, Southampton County, Virginia, 1834.
You got changed twice.
These families may sound familiar to you. Artists, Newsom, Turner, Haycocks. They all lived in this county. A year before 1831. You can't hear me? No. Okay. They moved here in 1830, a year before the 1831, before the Nat Turner Rebellion. The Nat Turner Rebellion was a rebellion of Indians from Indian land in Virginia, off the old Nottoway Reservation. They're called Cherenhaka today. They went back to their old name, and they knew there was getting ready to go down a big fight in Virginia. It's like the last Indian War in Virginia. But the slaves, actually they're people, but they were labeled as slaves by the Euro-American government. And they fought for their rights. And then after they did, they couldn't use slave testimony against the families I just mentioned because there were free people of color, aka Indians. And so they didn't get hung, but they stayed in jail for a while in the county jail. A lot of people got hung, but what I want to say, what they did with Sherry Newsom is they cut off her head and they paraded her head through town on a stick, to show what they did. Then they brought in U.S. troops and they killed approximately 300 Indians and 300 slaves down in Southampton and surrounding counties. And, so this is some of the things that Lewis Adams fought for. And down in southern Ohio, down in Jackson County, Lawrence County, and Guy County, you had Indians down there, the Harrises, the Lucas, and the Stewart families. They were for Indians from out of Virginia, and they also helped bring slaves across the River Jordan, the Ohio River, as was stated earlier. And one of the fascinating things is one of the Stewart men was 7/8 Indian. But the history books, when they whitewash history, they make him a black man, which is okay. It doesn't matter whether you're black, Indian, or white if you're trying to bring someone out of servitude. So I want to thank Mark again. I stated this in the beginning, and I'm glad I'm here today to share this news with you. And I want to thank, at this time, I forgot to have them drum. They were supposed to drum first before I spoke.
It's good to see all of my relatives here. I'm a descendant of Clifford Adams. We're the Finley Adams here. That song you just heard, I'm going to give that to you, all of our family. I made that song, so that's our song. This is our family song. So we're going to go through sets of songs here, and it's for the people. It's for each and every one of us. It's to all the hard times that we're having in life. We're going to let that go today, and we're going to uplift our spirits with these songs. So as the Adams family, I'd like you guys come together and rejoice. It's good to see each and every one of you here. Oh, thank you.
Did you see?
But
as we all gather with one another, loved ones past, they're watching us right now, and they see everything that we do in life. The legacies that we as individuals, we try to carry on, we know we're not perfect at it. So I got one thing to say to everybody, and it's the word called character defects. If you realize that you as an individual are not perfect and you have character defects, to me that means you're an honest individual. Look inside the mirror at yourself every now and then. Ask yourself some things that you can do different as a person and live those type of dreams, because there's a God that knows all, sees all. He even knows the motives behind your thoughts. All he wants us to do is do his will. So, Brian, if you don't mind, Brian taught me this song probably when I was about 13 years old, and this is my younger cousin. Okay, he was teaching me songs when he was 8 years old. He was a dancer. He brought the Native American in our family, the Adams family. That tradition alive is through my cousin Brian right now. and it's brought me to this drum that I haven't sat at, it's like I said, since I was 13. But the song that he taught me back when I was 13, it's something that I'll never forget. It's something that's automatic, and even today I don't have to rehearse it. I know it by heart. So Brian, do you mind if I do that song? It's basically a song that includes everybody. You know, the natives, they didn't really care who you were. If you could help them out, they were your friends. If you tried to steal something from them, they weren't too happy with it. So as human beings, we can all learn from each other, and that's basically what the story was all about through the native culture. But this song is just a dedication to the loved ones that are dead and gone, to the ones that are with us right now, to the young ones, this newer generation, that they're just individuals trying to find their way. But through the faith and the strength of God, all things are possible. So with that, I'm just going to start into this song.
Girl, I'm in love with you. This ain't a honeymoon, past the infatuation phase. Right in the thick of love. Sometimes we get sick of love. Seems like we argue every day. I know I misbehaved. You made your mistakes, and we both still got room left to grow. Though love sometimes hurts, I still put you first. We'll make this thing work, but I think we should take it slow. We're just ordinary people. We don't know which way to go. Hey, 'cause we're ordinary people. Maybe we should take it slow. Take it slow. Oh, 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 oh. This time we'll take it slow. Take it slow. Oh, 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 oh. This time we'll take it slow. This ain't a movie now, no fairy tales conclusion, y'all. Gets more confusing every day. Oh, and sometimes it's heaven sent, then we head back to hell again. Kiss, then we make up on the way. I hang up, you call, we rise and we fall, and we feel just like walking away. And as our love advances, we take second chances. Though it's not a fantasy, I still want you to stay. We're just ordinary people. We don't know which way to go. Hey, because we're ordinary people. Maybe we should take it slow. Take it slow. Time we take it slow. Take it slow. Oh, 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 oh. This time we take it slow. Take it slow. Maybe we'll live and learn. Maybe we'll crash and burn. Maybe you stay, maybe you leave. Maybe you'll return. Maybe another fight. Maybe we won't survive. Maybe we'll grow, we never know. Baby, you and I, we're just ordinary people. We don't know which way to go, 'cause we're ordinary people. Maybe we should take it slow. Sing with me, y'all. Take it slow. Da 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 da. Da 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 da. 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 This time we take it slow.
About 15 minutes
Sing it out. Come take it slow. Da 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 da. Da 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 da. Da 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 da.
She didn't tell me it was going to rain. Thanks, man. I like that one.
I'm sorry, I didn't beat up all.
Nice cheese, guys.